What if the one thing holding you back from everything you've ever dreamed of is simply the story you keep replaying in your mind? What if your deepest desires are already waiting in a quantum field of infinite possibility, and all you need is a key? I discovered a method that bridged ancient spiritual wisdom and modern quantum physics, and it changed everything. You might think manifestation is just wishful thinking, but what if the observer effect in quantum mechanics shows us that consciousness isn't passive, it's potent? In the next few minutes I'm going to walk you through how I used a scripting method to tap into this quantum spiritual synergy, and how you can too. If you're ready to stop being a spectator in your life and become the author of your reality, stay with me, because this is the method that got me everything. Have you ever sat quietly in your life, looking around at everything you don't have, a relationship you long for, the career that's always just out of reach, a sense of inner peace that seems elusive? I certainly did. For years I was frustrated, asking, why is life happening to me rather than for me? I watched others succeed. I watched dreams materialize. Yet I felt stuck. The same patterns kept cropping up. The same thoughts. The same disappointments. The same almosts. And then I started asking bigger questions. Why does it feel like there's a gap between what I want and what I get? Why does effort sometimes lead to exhaustion instead of realization? Why does reading another self-help book or watching another motivational talk feel like spinning wheels? The truth I uncovered was this: the problem isn't simply lack of strategy or action. The problem is deeper, it's foundational. At the core is the way we view reality, consciousness, identity, and our role in the vast tapestry of existence. Most of us grew up in a Newtonian worldview: matter is primary, reality is solid, time flows in one direction, and our consciousness is just a byproduct of our brain. We act, things happen, time moves on. But what happens when that model is incomplete? In the realm of quantum physics, we have discoveries that shake that worldview. For example, there is a vast body of work arguing that consciousness may not be simply an emergent property of matter, but might be intertwined with reality at the quantum level. Meanwhile, spirituality for millennia has held that we are creators, not victims. That mind matters. That intention matters. But often separation persists. Science says one thing, spirituality another. They don't always speak to each other. This disconnect creates a problem. We try to manifest by pushing, forcing, grinding, but we haven't realigned at the level of identity and being. We try to change our circumstances without changing the field that underlies the circumstances. We assume we must get things before we become things. We assume external change precedes internal transformation. But what if that's backwards? My story: I remember vividly sitting in my small apartment, notebook open. I had a vision board. I had a goal list. And yet, week after week, month after month, I felt a creeping emptiness. I was chasing outcomes but missing the root. I treated manifestation like a transaction: universe, deliver X and I'll be happy. But the result? I got some small wins, yes, but nothing permanent. Nothing that felt aligned. Then one day, I hit a low point. I lost a job. I lost direction. All my plans suddenly looked thin. And I realized, if this is how it unravels, maybe it's not the plans that are the problem, but the paradigm. Something needed to shift at a more fundamental level. The problem, in short: we live in a world of infinite potential, yet we operate from a mind that defines limitation. We try to hack reality from the outside, but the quantum spiritual principle says, the inside matters first. Until we are resonant, until our identity, feelings, vibration align, we cannot reliably manifest. And that's why so many people feel stuck, despite doing all the right things. The field doesn't respond to lack. It responds to coherence. And most of us are broadcasting scrambled signals. That's the heroic problem. The good news: it means there is work to be done. And it can be done. After that low point, I embarked on a journey, one that blended science and spirit. I consumed books on quantum physics. I sat in meditation. I listened to spiritual teachers. I asked the big questions. What if reality is not fixed? What if our thoughts, feelings, attention, our consciousness, are active players in the creation of our world? In the quantum realm, the famous observer effect suggests that the act of observation influences the outcome of quantum phenomena. In other words, the observer is not separate from the observed. At the same time, spiritual traditions, from Hermeticism, Advaita, Buddhism, have taught for millennia that consciousness is primary, that all is mind. The merge of these two threads, that consciousness might be fundamental, and that the material world might be shaped in part by the conscious field, was staggering. It meant that I wasn't just working on my life, I could work with the deeper field behind it. One of the most powerful discoveries I made, the difference between Newtonian manifestation, where you try to constrain, force, push, grind, and quantum manifestation, where you align with the field, set the signal, let it respond. Experts describe quantum manifestation as creating a signal so clear, so coherent, that it reaches into the quantum field and pulls desires into physical form. That shifted the game. Here's a story. I had been quietly longing for a particular job, a role that would use my talents, give me meaning, align with my values. I scripted it. I visualized it. I even networked for it. But nothing stuck. Then, using the quantum spiritual lens, I changed the approach. I sat in meditation, asked, who am I being in this role? How would I feel if it were true now? I wrote the script in first person, present tense. I imagined waking up in that role, stepping into purposeful work, feeling grateful, alive, engaged. I did this not as, I will one day, but, I am now. I then let go of the how, trusting the field. Within 6 weeks an opportunity appeared that fit in ways I hadn't scripted, and it happened from an unexpected door. The transformation wasn't just external, it was an inner shift. I stopped chasing. I started being. That story encapsulates the discovery: manifestation isn't just about what you want, it's about who you become, and how you tune. Spirituality and quantum physics both point to the same truth: identity matters, signal matters, attention matters. The quantum domain holds infinite possibilities. But not all possibilities respond, they respond to coherence, frequency, alignment. Our job is to match the version of ourselves that already has the desire, embody it, and then allow the collapse of the wave function, in quantum terms, into physical reality. It sounds mystical. It sounds audacious. But when woven with physics and spiritual practice, it becomes the method. And this is the breakthrough: we don't need to wait to be worthy or have permission. We already are signal beings embedded in a creative field. We just need to operate from that vantage. The moment I embraced this, things started changing, not overnight with zero effort, but with less struggle and more flow. The work shifted from pushing outcomes to refining being. The mystery turned into method. The discovery became my anchor. And now I'll walk you through exactly how I applied it. Here is the practical method I call scripting for quantum manifestation. It's a 4-step process you can use, whether you're new to manifestation or you've been trying for years. It blends spiritual practice, quantum insight, and grounded action. Let's dive in. Step 1. Define your desired reality in present tense. Write a script as if your desire is already real. Use I am, I feel, I live, not I will. For example, I wake up each morning excited to step into meaningful work that lights me up. I feel energized, valued, and aligned with purpose. Be as detailed as your heart allows. Include emotions, sensory details, sense of self. This step tunes your internal frequency to the version of you that already has the outcome. Step 2. Embody the signal, feel the emotion first. This is the quantum spiritual core. In the quantum field, everything exists as possibility, waves of potential. Your consciousness collapses those waves into your reality when your signal is coherent. So feel the emotion of what you're scripting now: gratitude, joy, ease, expansion. Practice meditation, breath work, journaling to anchor the feeling. One practical exercise: close your eyes for 5 minutes, breathe deeply, imagine one small part of your script, and feel it. Then open your eyes and write 2 sentences about how it felt. Do this daily for at least a week. Step 3. Align internal identity and release the how. Ask, who am I being, now, that this is true? Shift your identity from someone waiting for it to someone living it. Then release the how. Quantum manifestation teaches that the field responds to a coherent signal, not the micromanagement of the path. So commit to inspired action, not forced action. Take bold steps when they show up, but release the need to see every step. Practical exercise: one time this week, when you feel inspired, follow the impulse, even if uncertain. Then release attachment to outcome. Step 4. Trust, receive, and integrate. Trust the process. The field responds. But you must remain open to receive and integrate. That might look like unexpected opportunities, synchronicities, shifts in you. Journaling helps. Each morning, note 1 sign you got, 1 feeling you had, and 1 action you'll take. Also integrate practices like meditation, self-care, quiet moments where you feel expansive. Because transformation is not just about arrival, it's about who you become in the meantime. Here's a mini story to illustrate. I once scripted a deep connection relationship, not just a partner, but a partner who shared my spiritual values, who supported growth. I used the script, felt the emotions, embodied the identity of someone already in that loving relationship. Then released the how. 2 months later, I met someone through completely unexpected circumstances, a friend's backyard barbecue. Within weeks we discovered spiritual alignment, shared vision, and the relationship began. The method worked because I had done the inner work, set the signal, embodied the being, released the how, received. A few more practical exercises you can start today. Exercise A, 3-minute morning script. Upon waking, write 1 sentence, today I am. Then breathe deeply and feel it for 60 seconds. Exercise B, evening reflection. Before sleep, close your eyes, imagine 1 aspect of your script being real, feel gratitude, then release into sleep. Exercise C, inspired action log. If you feel a movement inside you, an impulse, an idea, an urge, write it down and within 24 hours act on it. Doesn't matter the size. It matters the alignment. And remember, this method isn't about ignoring everyday practicalities. It's about elevating them. It's not wish and wait. It's signal and align, then act. It's co-creation, spiritual and quantum together. What happens when you actually apply this method and stay consistent? Transformation. Real transformation, not only in your external life but within you. Let me share what changed for me in tangible ways, and what you can expect. First, your inner landscape shifts. You begin to feel less fragmented. Before, I felt compartmentalized, me over here, my dreams over there, life somewhere else. But as I practiced scripting and aligning, I realized, I am the orchestrator of my field. I am not subject to circumstances. I am signal. I felt more whole. More present. More coherent. The fear of not enough started dissolving. Instead of, I'll be happy when I get X, I started living the already. That shift, identity shift, is seismic. Second, your external world begins to reflect the internal. When your signal is coherent, the field begins to respond. For me, that looked like doors opening when I least expected, connections forming organically, opportunities aligning. But here's the key, the transformations were not always what I thought they would be. Some outcomes looked different. Some were better. Some required recalibration of the script. The field gives what you're ready for, not necessarily what you think you want. That means part of the transformation is learning trust, flexibility, surrender. Here is an emotional story. I had always believed that success meant a big salary, fancy title, visible achievement. I scripted that. I embodied a high-level executive identity. But when the moment came, I realized the values behind that identity, service, meaning, alignment, were more important than the title. So I pivoted. The script changed. The alignment deepened. The result? A role that paid similarly but allowed me real freedom, creativity, spiritual depth. I remember the moment. I sat in my car, tears streaming. I realized I was happy. Not because of the job, but because I was me. I was aligned. That was the real transformation. Third, the ripple effect. You'll influence others without trying. Because when you show up differently, vibrationally differently, you become a conduit for greater possibilities. Others around you will begin to reflect that shift. Your relationships improve. Your energy field recalibrates. You become not just a recipient of manifestation but a contributor to a higher vibration field. That feels like awakening. Here's another short story. After one major shift, I walked into a friend's gathering and the energy felt different. Someone I barely knew approached me and said, "You look luminous." What happened? I realized then that transformation isn't hidden. It broadcasts. And when you live consistently from aligned being, you become a magnet for aligned people, possibilities, belonging. And then there's the subtle transformation. You begin to see life as alive. The universe as responsive. Your consciousness as creative. You stop being passive. The quantum spiritual reality reveals itself in daily life, coincidences, meaningful signs, intuitive nudges, effortless flow. That doesn't mean no challenges, far from it. But you face them from a new vantage. You are not a victim. You are co-creator. Finally, the transformation invites mission. Once you've experienced this, you realize you were never just manifesting for yourself. You manifest for the field, for others, for the ripple. Transformation becomes service. The external outcomes, the job, the partner, the abundance, matter, but what matters more is who you've become in the process. And that becomes the foundation of your mission. Now that you've seen the problem, discovered the path, learned the method, experienced the transformation, the question becomes, what's next? What's your mission? Because powerful manifestation isn't just about me. It's about we. It's about elevating the collective field, contributing, aligning with a purpose bigger than your personal gains. Your mission can take many forms, but here's the framework I invite you into: become a beacon of possibility. You've tapped into the quantum spiritual method, you've aligned, you've transformed. Now you hold the key. You're not required to be perfect, just willing. Willing to share, to serve, to shine. Imagine this: you walk into a room and your presence says, "What if this is possible?" You speak and your words say, "You matter." Your signal matters. You act and your footsteps say, "This field is alive, and you're part of it." That is mission. That is co-creation at scale. Here's how you operationalize your mission. Live your example. Your everyday life becomes your message. The job you do, the way you treat people, the way you handle setbacks, all become part of your testimony. You don't need a loud stage or massive audience, though you might choose that. Simply your day-to-day life, done from alignment, will ripple. Share your story. Stories connect. The emotional arc of your journey, from stuck to aligned, from chasing to receiving, will inspire. I remember sharing my story at a dinner with close friends, the low point, the quantum spiritual shift, the job that came. One friend broke down, saying, "I feel stuck too." Story becomes invitation. Be open about the method, the practices, the humanity. Vulnerability matters. Teach the method. Whether formally or informally, begin to show others the scripting method, the alignment practices, the trust-receiving dynamic. Lead a group, start a podcast, write a blog, mentor someone. The more you activate the method in others, the more you anchor your own mastery. Expand the field. Your mission isn't just about your life, it's about amplifying the signal of humanity itself. When enough individuals operate from alignment, coherence, and creative consciousness, the collective field shifts. We move from separation to interconnection. From me to we. From inertia to flow. This is the spiritual vision of quantum physics and ancient traditions alike. The universe is interconnected, conscious, creative. Stay humble, stay curious. The quantum spiritual universe is vast. The method works, but you'll never arrive. That's okay. It's the journey of expansion. Continue to explore, new scripts, deeper meditations, more aligned action. Stay a student and a teacher. Be the bridge between science and spirit. So here is your call. What is the big cause for you? What version of you do you want to bring into the world? Script it. Embody it. Release the how. And then step into service. Because when you live your desire and share your transformation, you become a lighthouse for others wandering in the fog. And frankly, the world needs you. The world needs more people who operate from coherence, from creative consciousness, from the understanding that the quantum field and spiritual heart are one. The world needs your alignment. If you've resonated with this, here are 3 things you can do right now. Grab a notebook. Write your script in present tense, as if your desire is already here. Feel it. Book 10 minutes every morning for a week to do the 3-minute morning script exercise and the evening reflection exercise I described. Share this video, or this message, with someone who's hungry for something more, someone who's ready to believe that they matter, that their signal matters, that they can co-create reality. And comment below, what is the one sentence you wrote in your script today? I'd love to hear it, and hold space with you. Your life isn't a default. It's a design. You're not a bystander. You're a creator. The field is waiting. The universe is listening. The script is already inked inside you. Now step into it. Thank you for being here. Let's go create everything.